In '97 I went to India for the first time, and I remember very well how I was touched and moved by this country that is so alive. Those of you who have been there knows what I mean. I started to learn the tabla. So there was the learning of music, and I made a very beautiful meeting with my master, which was really a master of music, but also a man with a great open heart, and he became a little bit like my father. So I spent years and years in Varanasi, the city of music. Then one day while I was trekking the Himalayan mountains, I found a house very remote from everywhere and very lovely. And I really felt like just going there by myself and see what happened in this very simple context and in this silence. That first self-retreat, it lasted 5 months. You can imagine month after month being alone. So I became very much aware of everything happening within me in the thinking process, but also in the feeling process. I remember one time I was sitting on the terrace of my house, and I suddenly felt a huge nostalgia, like a feeling, I want to go home. So I tried to stay with the feeling and to observe really the feeling of what nostalgia is. During this self-retreat, so many things like this happened, and I began to explore what anger looks like, what happiness looks like. I had time of fantastic happiness, and I had time where I felt like in despair. And time passes, month after month, and this house became so precious for me that I went every year during the monsoon. For a few years I went there for self-retreats. And I met some teachers, and that was really inspiring. I was inspired by this fact that some people already had walked a lot of this path of being in silence, being in touch with themselves. So I did start to retreat, form a retreat, not solitary retreat anymore, but with groups and receiving teachings in different traditions. And these teachings have been revealing and deepening my experience that I already had during my self-retreats. And I was also keeping on the self-retreat tradition at monsoon time. Then it happened that I was invited by some of these teachers to support and help with teaching. And I did start to teach with open Dharma, insight meditation, and in the Dharma Nature in France after that. And so that just helped me connecting with what teaching and sharing means. And so when I came back to the south of France, I found my partner, and we now have a baby, and I'm here in France. My life has so much changed, but also something didn't change. This longing and this quest for going deeper and deeper in knowing myself and in finding what silence is. And this is so precious to me that now with some friends, we have created a structure that is called Dharma Nature. And this structure is the support to create events and to invite people who are also feeling this longing for being in touch with themselves, this longing for peace and harmony. This structure is made to create events to invite all those who wish to explore what is the impact of silence and of mindfulness and of the sense of presence on our life. So we do organize events for instance, we have done some creativity retreat where people can come, artists in this case, and they can have silent mornings with teachings, helping them to go deeply in touch with the inner silence, and then in the afternoon just practicing their music or art and see if the inner silence has an impact on the art and on the spontaneity, intuition. We are now also organizing journeys in India where we go, I'm with a group, and we meet different traditions, spiritual tradition like Buddhism, Christianism, Hinduism and Sikhism. we meet masters in these different traditions that explains how they practice, what is the philosophy of the tradition and their approach to spiritual life. And during this journey we also practice the meditation with the group together, mornings and evenings, with instructions and guidance, and we visit places of spiritual interest in India. And our last project now is we have a land here in the south of France that we rent, and on this land we will slowly develop so that we can welcome people who want to self-retreat, which means like just taking rest from general life and come on this very peaceful, beautiful land where we have spring water, shady trees. It's a big land with beautiful views, and just to be in the simplicity in a tent, having a small kitchen and dry toilets, and exploring with the support of teaching. I live nearby, if needed, with the support of teaching or not, but just exploring what is this, how we can be touched by silence and what it does reveal, and how we can sense ourselves deeper.